Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve and this is a 5-minute review of Solo, a Star Wars movie from 2018. There was some problems with the direction of the film and ultimately Ron Howard stepped in to guide it back onto course. So that's already known. I'm not really going to talk about any of that. But let's talk about some of the cast. You've got Alden Ehrenreich as young Han. You've got Juna Satomo, who's playing Chewie, and he also took over from Peter Mayhew in the new Star Wars trilogy. Emilia Clarke, Woody Harrelson, Jon Favreau voices a character. You've got Paul Bettany as the main antagonist, Donald Glover, Thandie Newton, and the list goes on and on. There's an absolute smorgasbord of talent in this film. Having not seen this film before and waited until now to watch it, I'm not really sure what everyone was really bitching about. It came out at a difficult time, perhaps, as the new trilogy was partly underway, but also we had Rogue One within the last few years as well. And even though the ending of that was known, I think some people were complaining about Solo for the same reason, saying that it doesn't really add anything to the franchise and it doesn't hold up because we already ultimately know the ending. But that didn't bother me at all. There are lots of familiar elements in this film that are all slightly different. Sometimes people, that's what they say, they want the same thing but slightly different, and then they complain if you don't deliver that. So in this case we have an older rogue in Woody Harrelson who's training the young kid, who you could say is the young Han in this case, or you could mirror it back to A New Hope and say you've got Luke and Han's relationship, you've still got a Wookiee, you've got a dangerous female again in this film, you've got a droid with an attitude, much as you had in the original trilogy. So all of the key elements are there, and there's a heist and a space battle, so there's lots of really good stuff in there. Okay, yes, there were a few annoying bits that felt a little bit crowbarred into the film. The fact that they had to get his name in and call him Solo. There's the thing with the gun and the Kessel Run and all this kind of stuff. So there was a feeling that sometimes they were joining the dots, trying to slot certain things in to fit it within the Star Wars universe. But they could have easily just said this is 10 or 15 years before episode 4 and it didn't have to tie in so closely, and then you may have got another adventure with a young Han Solo, but they didn't do that. So anyway, there we go. So positives about the film: the guy who plays the young Han Solo, Alden, is excellent. He's so good. He's funny, he's cocky, he's got the kind of swagger that Han Solo has. He's handsome and dashing. True, this is a younger version of the character, so he hasn't all got it worked out, but that's fine. It's very much in keeping with the character. And he does a version of it. He's not imitating Harrison Ford. And we can see that underneath this version of Han, the roguic exterior that he's portraying, he's actually still a nice guy. Another positive is the guy's relationship with Chewie on screen. It's very convincing. They meet in the film for the first time, but I like the pair of them on screen. It works really well. And they drip feed you information about Chewie. The fact that he's 180 years old and he can fly a ship, and it's done with a very light touch, so that was really good. Donald Glover plays a young version of Lando Calrissian, and he's really good in that too. He uses some of the same speech patterns, but I almost wish he'd done what Alden had done, which is doing a version of Lando without trying to be a slave to it. But even so, there were some funny moments. Overall, the supporting cast for the film is really good. The only bad thing is that the annoying droid in the past we had was C-3PO. This time, it's really bad. They've used something like that in every Star Wars film, whether it's Jar Jar Binks or something like that. In Rogue One, you had Alan Tudyk, who was good, but he was a little bit grating. And this time around, you've got a droid called L3, who's voiced by Phoebe Waller-Bridge of Fleabag fame. I found her distracting, I found the character annoying, and it was really frustrating that the film felt like it was pulling in a totally different direction. So, slight spoiler, I was glad when her character got wiped out. This film does have consequences. Some of the characters die, there are genuine sacrifices, and over the course of the film, we can see the other characters evolving. So it's not caught in this endless cycle that the new Star Wars films trying to be caught in. The fact that they're wanting to appeal to the widest possible audience, therefore they pare stuff down, and the film kind of coasts along in this second act, and it never really goes anywhere, and there can be no really harsh consequences. This film doesn't suffer from that, because people who were at the start of the film are not at the end. Even though this film is set within the Star Wars universe, it proves that the films don't always have to be part of the Skywalker saga, and I hope that they do more of those going forward. It is possible to tell amazing stories within this giant sandpit that don't connect to the Skywalkers. And we've seen this. The Mandalorian TV show has proved how good it could be. Sadly, it looks like there aren't going to be any more Solo films because this takes us very close up to episode 4 at the end of the film. So going forward, now that the 9 films are done, I'm hoping that what comes after this will be spin-off, it'll be different, and we'll get different flavours like we've had in a Marvel film, where you get a comedy and a drama and a Cold War espionage film. Something like that going forward would be good. Anyway, Solo, really good, really enjoyed it. It's a good bit of fun. It's a solid film with consequences, and it's funny at times. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 and say, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth your time. Check it out. So, do you agree with my assessment? Get in touch and let us know. You can contact us via Facebook, email, or on Twitter. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and thanks for listening.